Alright, we're going to continue on with this worksheet and finish it off. So if I go too fast, go ahead and pause it as you need and fill it in. This topic is relatively important, so it's good to know how to do it. So please take it seriously and get it done. Alright, as we ended 4, we talked about how we could divide everything by -3 and come up with a slightly easier equation to work with. I'm going to go ahead and do that. It seems like a good idea. So let's go ahead and, since y equals -5x minus 17, what we're going to do is take that -5x minus 17 and put it in place of y. So as I rewrite that, I have x plus, and then we have, instead of y, we have -5x minus 17. Sorry about that. Get that out of the way. And that will equal -1. So these colors aren't random. I'm trying to show you how the substitution works and which part is the substitution. Now we're going to combine our like terms. So we're going to combine x and -5x to get -4x. And the minus 17 doesn't combine. Alright, now we're going to move our numbers to one side, so I'm going to add 17 to both sides. So -4x equals 16. And when you divide both sides by -4, you get x equals -4. I've run out of room, so let's see if I can fix this real quick. Right. Looks like I've done that before. So now we're going to plug in this one. Whichever one you plug in is not a big deal. They're both relatively similar. Now we have been plugging into the y equals equation, so we'll do that. Y equals -5 times -4 minus 17. Negative times a negative is a positive, so y equals 20 minus 17. So y equals 3. That means the ordered pair for this is going to be -4, 3. And you could check this graphically using Desmos if you wanted. So, okay, what could be more fun than that, huh? If you need to pause and get caught up, go ahead and do so now. I will try to do the next problem more neatly. Alright, hopefully you've had a chance to get caught up. This one is pretty nice, pretty accessible. Notice we already know what y is. Y equals -2. So this maybe should have been the first example that we tried. What we're going to do is plug in that -2 for y. So we're going to say 4x minus 3 times -2 equals 18. And I see this as -3 times -2, and a negative times a negative is a positive. So we're going to say plus 6 equals 18. I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. So 4x equals 12. X equals 3. And we have our ordered pair. X is 3, y is -2. Yippee skippy, that went pretty fast, huh? Alright, if you want to go ahead and pause, get caught up, do so now. Alright. Moving on, number 6, notice that y is already solved for. This has, we're going to have to distribute that -2. So this is a challenging one. But let's Go ahead and give it a whirl. So I'm going to use green for the majority of this and start way over here. Negative 3x minus 2, and this is where I do my substitution. So 5x minus 7. Because y equals this, I can replace y with that expression, those letters and numbers. Now I'm going to distribute the negative 2. So I'm going to think of this as negative 2 times 5x, negative 2 times negative 7. This algebra is very important for the next level. So some of the stuff that we've done is good for Algebra 2. This stuff right here is really good for geometry, being able to do this. So if you want to be successful next year, you want to make sure you understand and can do these steps on your own. So negative 2 times 5x gave us negative 10x. Negative 2 times negative 7 gave us 14. Now I'm going to combine my like terms. I have an x to the first, x to the first, so negative 13x plus 14 equals negative 12. I'm going to subtract 14 from both sides. And I'm adding two negatives, so it's like I owe $14 and I owe $12. That's a 12 up there. So I owe $26. And then I divide by negative 13. So a negative divided by a negative is a positive. Make sure you have these rules down really well for next year. And now I'm going to take this 2, I'm going to plug it in for x. So if x is 2, I'm going to say y equals 5 times 2 minus 7, which is 10 minus 7, which is 3. So our answer is going to be x is 2, y is 3. And that's it. Not too bad. If you need to pause to get caught up, go ahead and do so now, and we'll move on to the next problem. Alright, this one is a little more traditional. We're going to have to solve for a variable and then plug it in. So I'm going to use the top equation because of the positive single y or positive 1y up there. I'm going to solve that for y. So if I have the choice and I have to use substitution, I'm going to try to find a variable that is positive and with a coefficient of 1. To get y by itself, I need to move that 4x. The way I move a negative number is I add 4x to both sides. These are not like terms. Some of us are still struggling a little bit with this. That x and the 6 do not combine. This is apples and oranges. So I have 4x plus 6, like 4 apples and 6 oranges. They don't come together to make some strange fruit. So now I'm going to take this 4x plus 6 and I'm going to put it in place of y in the second equation. So let's use orange for my second equation. Negative 5x minus, now that minus is tricky because I'm going to have to distribute it. And this is where the 4x plus 6 comes in. Because it's minus y, then it's minus 4x and minus 6 is 21. So now I'm going to distribute the negative, is what I say. So the negative 5x doesn't change, but if I'm subtracting 4x, it's negative 4, it's a minus 4x. If I'm subtracting a positive 6, it's minus 6. Like terms, negative 4x and negative 5x. So I owe $5, I owe $4, I owe 9 big ones. Now I need to isolate the x. So first thing I'm going to do is get rid of addition or subtraction around the variable. So negative 9x equals 27. Now I'm going to divide both sides by negative 9. And right over here we say x equals negative 3. Now I like to plug my negative 3 into my y equals equation. So assuming I did it right, and if I didn't do it right, there's nothing's going to make it right at this point. I don't know what happened there. So I'm going to put negative 3 in for that x. So that will be y equals 4 times negative 3 plus 6. Order of operations says multiply before you add. So 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. So that's a different sign difference. Negative 12 plus 6 is negative 6. You really need to be able to do this very well to handle geometry. So the adding, subtracting, multiplying, and this solving. So we've got both our numbers. So x is negative 3, y is negative 6. That is our solution. If you were to graph these two lines, they would cross at negative 3 and negative 6. If you need to get caught up, go ahead and pause now, and I will move on. All right, looking at number 8, we need to solve for one of the variables. I notice that number 8 has x with a coefficient of 1, and it's positive. So I'm going to solve for that. That's the easiest one to solve for, in my opinion. So starting right over here, I'm going to say x minus 2y equals 11. And I won't get a solution, but I'll get an expression. So this is solving by substitution. This expression then can be put in place of x. It can be substituted in. So I'm going to take this 2y plus 11, and since x is that, I'm going to put it in this other equation for x. So I have to use the other equation, otherwise I get something that won't solve out. Alright, so negative 7, negative 7 in place of x, I'm going to write the 2y plus 11. Now I have the rest of that equation, minus 2y equals negative 13. Now I need to simplify, so I'm going to distribute the negative 7. So negative 7 times negative 2 is negative 14y. Negative 7 times positive 11 is negative 77. Minus 2y equals negative 13. I have some like terms. Negative 14y minus 2y is negative 16y. Minus 77 equals negative 13. I'm going to add 77 to both sides. Again, I'm probably going too fast, so feel free to pause as you need to. I think we're going to run out of time here. Anyway. So if negative 16y equals, different sign is a difference, should be 64. And when I divide by negative 16, and you could do this longhand, you could reduce it as a fraction. You're going to get negative 4, however you do it, if you do it correctly. And our ordered pair is, we don't know yet, sorry. We got to plug in, don't we? Take that negative 4, put it in place of y. So we're going to say x equals 2 times, there's your negative 4 in place of y. So negative 8 plus 11 equals 3. So now we have an ordered pair.